You'll know when you have a wild woman. She'll practice her craft without boundaries. She is truly autonomous. Her loyalty is only to the family she serves, a midwife who will not allow herself to be held back by a system she didn't create.
This podcast is for the birth keepers who want to grow and change. We are open to learning through self-reflection and supportive community. We are creating this space to explore without judgment. We are remembering we were
Born wild. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Born Wild podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Sophia. And today's podcast episode is part 2 of Leah and Clay's birth story. We left you with a little cliffhanger. We'll remind you what that is and hear how the story unfolds. How were the last few moments that you remember of like your transition from potentially having this home birth? Like what was the last piece that you remember? Because there was some excitement around pushing when you were complete, and I'm sure that brought some renewed energy and hope. And
yeah, so I pushed on Thursday morning, which was the funnest day of all. So much fun. I'm not being sarcastic.
I can't tell if you're being
I'm
sarcastic.
not being sarcastic. It was the best day. I mean,
It was a good day.
Danced.
That's
we
right.
ate amazing food. We watched movies.
Yeah, Becca made stroganoff.
Yeah, Becca made amazing vegan beef. Vegan
all this stuff were like,
stroganoff.
I remember several times, like, you asked, you go, these ingredients were in my fridge?
I remember
This is in my kitchen.
She made crazy stuff. It was amazing. So talented, that woman. But no, Thursday was the best day. It really was, even though, we had the pressures of family calling and having talking tos with Clay and, trying to persuade us to go to the hospital and what we're doing isn't right. And I mean, the list goes on. That was very intense.
You were out of that loop the whole time, though. That was already like, you guys had made that plan that do not tell me what anyone else is saying, like just handle it. How did that conversation go? Like that was the plan. So it wouldn't be on you.
Yeah, and Leah, I think you turned your phone off basically, right?
I turned my phone off. I had it on Do Not Disturb, and I would only check. There's only 2 people I was talking to. Yeah. And they were very supportive the entire way through. And I would give them updates sometimes.
And I was giving updates. I had like a couple of group texts going on, and just to give people the updates of like we're doing or whatever, because everyone's curious, of course, And so it was like easier to just give them an update every so often than to have everybody asking. And I think in retrospect, it probably would have been better to just not give any updates and just. But it's tough because it was so many days. It's kind of a unique situation. So people would ask, like, "Okay, it's been a while. Like, what's going on?" And
yeah, could you imagine like radio silence for 3 or 4 days? They would have been like calling hospitals locally, like, "What's going on?" Like, where are you?
Yeah, so we had to do something, right? So it would just be like I tried to do it like 2 or 3 times a day, like once every 6 to 8 hours. It'd just be like. I type something up and I just send it to each of the little group texts with the different family and friends groups, with kind of the key people, and just ask them to pass it along to anyone else who asked, which was, I think that someone gave us that advice, like just point a couple people to be your communication key, like leaders or whatever, and just like, just communicate to them and then let them send the information out to everyone else.
Messengers.
Yeah. There's definitely like, it's been like 7 hours. Like, where's the update? I'd be like, helping hold Leah up as she's having a contraction every 4 minutes or something. And it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to text you back right now. It was a little frustrating, but it was, and then the phone calls started coming in, and it was the long texts of like,
we don't agree with what you're doing.
I talked to my nurse practitioner friends and da 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 da. you guys really need to consider going to the hospital. And so I finally was like, all right, I just have to put an end to this. Like, I'm gonna call, because then at that point, like, your grandma was texting, and Clay, please call me. She call, and I didn't pick up, and then she texted me again, like, what is going on? I need to know. Please call me. I was like, okay. Like, at this point, they're getting worried, and like, let me just like not text. Let me call.
Yeah.
And I need to explain the situation a little bit better, maybe.
And it's important to note here, I think, like, this was all my decision that you were fully bought in on, of course, and supported that. I could have easily said, let's go. I decided that we should take non-stress tests. And so we did that. We were monitoring all vitals this entire time.
Yeah.
And so with that, I wasn't in excruciating pain. I was managing it as best as I could, I feel.
Yeah.
And so I continued to hang on to this and try to, have the home birth that I had, envisioned.
And that's what I explained to family, was like, hey, we're not like out in the middle of the woods here by ourselves. Like, we have medical professionals here who are checking on the status and the health of baby and mom, and they were like, oh, they're doing tests. I'm like, yeah, what do you think is happening? Like, we have a midwife here. Do you know what a midwife is? Like,
well, and I think an important piece that we just kind of talked about is the letting them know, like, Leah's good. Like, she's laughing, like the explaining and painting a picture for them of what it looked like, because they could only imagine like how a woman would look after 4 days of labor, and like when you can paint a picture of what it actually was like, they're like, oh, you guys are watching Ace Ventura and eating straight. Okay, it can just like relieve people a little bit, because their stories can just run wild of what is actually unfolding. Yeah.
Yeah, I sent them a picture of you like getting with a Doppler, getting checked, and you were standing, smiling, and just like genuine, just like candid shot of you, and they're like, oh wow, oh my gosh, and everyone was all happy, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. And like Becca braiding your hair, while you're rocking on the birth ball, and it was just really sweet moments.
Yeah. So.
Well, what about those pushing?
So back to the pushing. So pushed a little bit on Thursday, and then decided to give it a break because after checking my cervix, it appeared to be a bit swollen from pushing. So we decided to take a break and did a lot of icing. So inserting ice to help hopefully bring some of the swelling down. And we did some other forms of pain relief. At this point, I was starting to get some, I think past that point, but I had started developing some pretty intense like back pain, rib pain, just from like all the pushing and contractions and, a lot going on. Yeah. So we use a lot of like natural pain relievers there. And then I was checked again later on Thursday, I recall, and the swelling had gone down a bit. And so we had decided to start pushing. And so started pushing more, and that was very exciting. I think this is at like 1 a.m. on Friday, actually, at this point. And my water had broke a little bit before that. So we were starting to see some progress, which was really exciting after 5 days. And
when your water broke, I remember there was like another like, oh, progress, like another milestone feeling. I'm trying to remember, was there meconium when your water broke, or did that happen like later?
Yeah. So, and actually we didn't know my water broke because I believe it happened when we were doing the ice. And so ice was melting. And so it was hard to tell.
Yeah, that's right.
But shortly after I had been icing, I was standing with the rebozo and doing that. And then we started seeing some meconium. And so we're like, okay, this is great. So it was more like a trickle at that point. There was never any big boom.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just said we saw some meconium, and that was great. And I think a lot of people might be like, oh, meconium, the baby's in distress, especially after a really long labor. Like, and now you probably went to the hospital, but we were monitoring baby the whole time, and she was a doll the whole I mean, we didn't know but she was great the whole time. My memory is we never had a hiccup once with her heartbeat.
No, everything was great. Even the non-stress tests were great. I felt she was great.
And we knew enough about meconium. Also, we'd learned a lot about it. I think it goes back to the percentage thing you were talking about earlier, where there's definitely a lot of misconception about how causation versus correlation.
Mhm.
I think was a big thing.
Yeah, and we had discussed that when we had heard about this being a thing, and we determined if my water breaks at home and there's meconium, we will still go forward with attempting a home birth.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Thursday or Friday, technically at 1 a.m., we started playing some 90s hip hop and got the good vibes going on there. That was super fun and exhilarating. And we were all wide awake and decided to, I decided to push on the toilet in our guest bathroom. And we were all squeezed in there. And
4 of us in there.
It was tight. It was definitely tight. It was basically like 5 of us because I was so pregnant.
Yeah. And I broke the toilet holder off the cabinet with my foot. I was like, oh no.
We had dragged the little coffee table thing we had, the like ottoman.
Yeah, we were
we
trying
dragged
to get
that in there.
Yeah, somehow we squeezed the ottoman in the bathroom and a stool. We were trying to get
Yeah.
creative so I could fall asleep because I mean
we had all the pillows almost in the whole house. Like we were having all stuff behind you and around your head.
This was going on 4.5 days now of no sleep more than half hour. So we were trying to I was trying to sleep.
Yeah, get every minute rest. Yeah.
And then you would just
there's some good photos of that. With the pillows being hoisted up against me and turning around on the toilet, just trying to catch some Z's in any way I could before the next contraction came. So yeah, a lot of pushing. And during that pushing, Sophia, you helped guide me with that because I really wanted to have that pushing reflex happen, and that didn't get to happen. And so I wasn't sure how I should be pushing. And so you guided me with that pretty much with every contraction I got. And, Mayla, she was like this close. She was so close. We could feel her. I could feel her. Yeah. And I think like halfway through pushing on Friday morning, we thought that she might be breech at that point.
Yeah.
And she was not, but we thought that she was based on the wrinkly nature of her head or the amniotic sac. We're not sure really what that was, right?
Yeah, there was something going on in there where we're like, is that butt cheeks and a booty hole we're feeling, or is that wrinkly scalp? Like, it was really hard to tell for a little bit.
Yeah.
And after just real quick snippet of fast forwarding when she was born, and we saw the wrinkly back of her head, and we were like,
wrinkly.
It was her head.
Her head. She had so much loose skin on her head. It was like, that's what that was.
We could call her a little butt head now.
Yeah. I didn't think I was breech, but I was also like, let's do this. We're going to do this right here. Like,
because there was a pause where we were like, okay, hold on. If she is, like, do you want to still, do this? Should we go?
Yeah.
That was interesting. Yeah.
So, and that was exciting for me. I felt like another surge of like excitement and energy. Like I'm going to do this, and I think at like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I think it was around 6 o'clock, I decided to stop pushing. At that point, it had been several hours and I was spent to say the least. So tired.
It was like 4 or 5.
Okay. Yeah. So I decided to take a breather and go into the pool. Yeah. And Becca stayed with me. I was really worried I was going to like fall asleep in the water. So she assured me that wouldn't happen and was with me the whole time. And you guys, I think, caught a couple hours of sleep. And yeah, I don't know if you have anything else.
I just remember it was like, the whole time was just really tough for any of us to, obviously you couldn't sleep, but for the three of us to try and like figure out at what point do we all need to be there? At what point should just one of us be there? At what point should we break off and some of us get some rest? Like, is this going to be the moment? Should we all be like here? And so, especially then at that moment, I felt like it was really interesting looking back on it, the way it kind of ended there, because I think your timeline was you were a little ahead. I think it was more like up until midnight or 1 a.m. or maybe 2 when you were pushing. And then I remember, Sophia, you went and slept in the guest bedroom. And you'd been asleep for a little while, and me and Becca were up with you, and you were in the pool. We were talking, and then you were like, "Babe, you should get some sleep." Like, I was like, "Oh, I want to be here," and you're like, "No, I'm fine. Like, Becca's here. Go to sleep." I crawled up on the bed like 3 feet away, and tried to sleep.
Like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. I'll try. And I fell asleep. I can't remember if I fell asleep or woke up I only slept for maybe an hour or something, but it was like, I remember being half asleep hearing you and Becca talking about going to the hospital.
Yeah.
You were starting to talk about it. Like,
yeah. Like I was bringing it up.
You were bringing it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you brought it up to Becca and you're like, just talk me through this. Like, what would this look like?
I don't remember that.
Or something like that. I don't know. You guys were talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
which we had talked about it a few times, all of us, kind of like we mentioned before, this was a very open and non-judgmental conversation. And anything was up for discussion. It was never like, I must have a home birth and like, I'm never going to go to the hospital. It was very much like, all right, like I'm really tired. Like, what do you guys think? And so we talked about it and what it would look like. And
yeah, it was in a sense easy to keep going, easy in air quotes, because you and baby were always so great. So there wasn't ever this thing where we were like, oh, this looks weird, like we should go, so it was really up to you to just say, okay, we're like looping on all of our tricks now, or there's nothing new to try. Or my gut is just telling me it's time now.
And I think that's where you got
I reached
the point where you
exhaustion.
were just like, I'm too tired. I can't. I don't know why it's not happening, but I just can't anymore. So I think I need to go.
Yeah. Just after doing those hours of pushing, I was like, I just used all my energy, and I already used all my energy these 5 days before. I don't understand where this next burst of energy is going to come from, and I'm ready. Like, let's just have the baby today. I'm so exhausted. Yeah.
And then it started happening fast.
Well, and I knew it would happen fast because I was in the birth tub for a couple hours. And every time I would get out of the tub or the birth tub, the bath or the birth tub, it would start ramping up, and it did.
Yeah.
It ramped up a lot. So
you got out and we got Sophia up. We're gonna wake up Sophia. Sophia, we're gonna go to the hospital. You're like, what?
What happened?
What happened? I just closed my eyes. What? We talked about it. And, and then it started happening very fast.
Yeah, we talked about our game plan. So we made the decision to go to the hospital and not be pregnant anymore, not be in labor anymore after 5 days,
you drove yourself. There was no emergency, and we just kind of like packed bags and.
Yeah, I was most worried about.
We were moving fast, not because of an emergency, but because Leah was like,
my
now I feel like
back to
the
back.
Baby's.
Yeah.
Of course, at that point, right?
It was so intense. Decided. I mean, they were like 2-3 minutes apart, like nonstop. It was intense. And so we were talking about what this would look like. So it was fresh in our brains. And, We just kind of came up with a game plan there so that we could feel as prepared as possible, which was amazing. I'm so glad we did that.
Yeah.
Clay was packing the bag frantically. It was like straight out of a movie. Like you would think there was like a major emergency, like water broke, let's go. But it was just like, we're just finally going. But
he's like, I don't want her to get held up on me. Like, I don't want to be the one that makes this take long.
Yeah, 100 hours later, we're like,
yeah,
1 million miles an hour.
The bag thing was the best. Like seeing Clay so frantic and exhausted and his hair and like just blah, blah, blah. And then you would be like, oh, and Clay, remember this when you get there, and you'd be like, and then I'm like, Clay, bring this. And it was so funny. And what's so funny about it too now is the hospital bag that he packed was like literally full of like dresses and this really cute like lacy long like kimono and nothing else. Like there might have been some underwear, which I wasn't gonna wear underwear.
All of your postpartum underwear.
Yeah, and I wasn't gonna wear underwear. I was like, that was gonna be like, you know, postpartum underwear. I don't like skateboard underwear. So it was really cute. There were no outfits, there were no bras, there was no like, you know, hygiene bag. There was none of that. I don't think. It was adorable. A lot of dresses though. Dresses for days.
Diesel, she loves dresses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was wearing a dress too, so I was like, yeah, I am wearing a dress right now. That was hilarious. Yeah.
But do you want me to get jeans and a t-shirt?
Oh, you did bring jeans, actually. You brought jeans. It's okay.
Yeah.
It was so cute. But I remember when we were leaving for the hospital, I was so worried that I wasn't going to be able to recline because the car seat was back there, and that was the biggest deal. I was like, I'm not going to be able to recline. I'm having like crazy contractions right now. And then Becca's like, we can unstep it and just put it in the back. It's fine. So leaned all the way back. So
we got to the hospital and it was classic. Like, where do we go? Where are we supposed to go?
We're 2 minutes from the hospital. It was quick.
And we get to the hospital. Yeah, we're like the emergency department, I guess. And
we went through all of this with you and Becca.
Yeah,
Sophia.
but then you get there.
It was like in one ear, out the other. Yeah.
I'm
three
screaming.
Different entrances. And
yeah.
So we pull over and I roll down the window, and there's this doctor walking into the building, like back from her lunch break or something. And I'm like, excuse me, like my wife's in labor. Where do we go?
So classic.
And she's like, come around, go around there and park over here, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I'll see you up there, and winks at us. And we're like, okay. Like, didn't even think about it, obviously, right? We're just like, thanks. And go, and we get in there and everything. And
I got very quickly admitted. I was clearly,
fast and furious, into a room within
labor.
A minute.
Yeah. They sloughed me off.
And there's 8 people in the room.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Clay's in there with the bag, just like bag of dresses. Just like, here we go. Okay, what do I do?
Yeah.
And there's like 8 people in there. Totally not what we wanted, 8 people we didn't know, and it was all happening very quickly. And someone's in my vagina, someone is like hooking me up to stuff, the other person's there were some issues trying to get the IV in, so they'd switch sides. It was all very,
put a heart monitor on the baby.
Yeah. It was not fun, and I was just trying to channel my inner peppermint and try relaxing and breathing, and we're looking at each other and talking without talking. We were just talking with our eyes, because Clay couldn't even be right next to me. It was too intense. Too many people.
And then the doctor was coming in, which that doctor was the doctor who told us where to go. So she walks in, and she's the surgeon on.
She's the OB.
The OB, yeah. And the heart rate monitor was going off. It started beeping, and the alarm was going up, beep, 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 beep. And like she come in and check and see, and the heart rate was dropping, and she started talking to us about what was going on. And at first it was pretty off-putting, the way she was
off-putting the whole time.
Yeah, it was it was like all these things were going on. There's all these people doing all these things and like getting your IV and everything, and all of that was just kind of like almost like chaos in the background is what it felt like.
Yeah.
And then it was almost like all those people were in the room, but you almost didn't see them because it was just like so intensely you and me, and then the doctor coming in.
Yeah.
Is what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every once in a while, like a person would ask you a question and they'd be like, I know someone already asked you this, but like, are you allergic to any medications? And you're like, yeah, you're the seventh person to ask me, and the other 7 people are in this room.
Yeah.
I've been here for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she came in a couple of times and said, the heart rate's dropping, and I'm, not liking that, and if it happens again, we're gonna have to go to cesarean. We're gonna have to go to surgery.
Yeah. And so we're like, okay, like hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
I really wanted relief, right? This was my intention going to the hospital was getting an epidural immediately, which that's okay. Like I was totally fine with that. And
you wanted to do that.
I needed to sleep. I wanted to sleep.
Yeah.
Really. That's really what I wanted. I wanted to sleep. And then in a perfect world, I would have gotten an epidural, fallen asleep for 9 hours, and then woke up and pushed. But I couldn't do that. So when she mentioned the cesarean and the speediness of everything happening, I was kind of like, all right, like I'm just gonna accept this as it comes. Like if that's what happens to get the baby out safely, that sounds good because that means I'm gonna get relief soon too. So yeah, she came in the 3rd time, and she's like, all right, I don't like that. I don't like that the heart rate is dropping, and we'd like to do this. And so we're like, all right, let's go, let's do it. And that happened very quickly.
It's so interesting too, because it never happened once at home, like in all those days, like not even, because sometimes it'll happen and you'll change position and like, everything will recover and it's fine, but like not once. So I remember when I finally heard the story, I was like, wait, what? Really? I was like, wow, that's so fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It was very interesting.
We looked back on it like, what did Mela was Mela just like, okay, like it's time, Mom, come on.
Yeah.
Let's just do this.
Yeah, and I've gone through a lot of therapy sessions with this, racking my brain that I'll never know the why.
Yeah.
That's what's frustrating is like,
because there was no answer in the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's part of the mystery and love and excitement of birth, I think, and having it be her own story. But yeah, I think like once she said we're doing the cesarean, we were like all in, like let's go, let's do this. And I was really worried about Clay not being reunited back with me just with COVID. It was really weird in the hospital with COVID and stuff. I was really nervous that he was with me this entire time, by my side the entire time. And that was like one of the longest times you were away from me, was like getting dressed, and they like forgot to go get him, and it was just like he needs to be here.
Yeah.
Just like a little detail question, were you required to wear a mask while you were in labor, Leah?
No.
Okay.
No, and I didn't wear it when I was in the operating room either, because they had like the stuff, I think. I did not wear a mask in labor.
I had one on, but yeah, you weren't.
Not that I remember.
Okay.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Postpartum, you had to wear a mask mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think once you came in, everything was better.
It was crazy though, because we were, like you said, we were together and everything was this whole week, right? And then I think we got there at like 8:30 or something, and she was born at like 9:07.
Wow.
It was like,
it happened so quickly over such a long drawn
yeah,
out week.
I mean the whole thing from getting into the hospital to like baby is born, it was like 30 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I just remember, so in the room when they decided this is what's gonna happen, and they took you off to go get
Dural anesthesia.
exactly, yeah. and they were like, okay, here's like scrubs for you to put on. You know, we're gonna go start this with her anesthesia, and then we'll come back and get you, you know, before. It'll be about, I think it'll be about 5 or 10 minutes. You know, and I was like, okay, so I like got dressed in about 22 seconds. And I was like, I'm ready. Hasn't been 10 minutes yet. And but it was so weird because they left, and then I was literally just alone in that room. There was nobody in there. It was just like chaos. Okay, what's gonna happen? Here's the stuff, and okay, we'll be back. And then
because of COVID, neither Becca or I could join you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you were I don't know where, you know, and I was like, God, I hope they come back and get me.
I'm like, he's taking forever getting dressed.
And I was texting with my brother at that moment, and I was just kind of breaking down. I was like, that was because it was just like all of the emotions of the whole week, you know? And then it was like going down a route that wasn't the route we wanted to go down. Yeah. And even though I knew that like it was going to be okay, it was still just like so built up, right? So built up, and then to go down this route so quickly was really overwhelming and just hard to even comprehend and digest that quickly, right? It was just like and then but it was interesting. I was texting with my brother, and I was like, hey, like this is what's going on, or Kaiser Leah is about to, you know, have a cesarean. And he was like, dude, I was literally in that same room 13 years ago, 14 years ago today, when my nephew was born. Wow. My nephew was born in the same room in the same hour.
Wow.
That same day.
14 years early. Yeah. And he was like, dude, I can't even remember all the advice he gave, but he was just like, you're going to be fine. Like, you know. And that really helped. And then they came and got me, and I came in. Yeah. They were just starting.
They were just about to start. Yeah. Yeah. Before they started, you know, I got the catheter, and they were like, I think 3 different people that time commented and said, wow, you've got some healthy kidneys. Look at that. And I'm like looking at Clay, I'm like, those electrolytes Sophia gave me.
Love that you were like,
they showed me my urine, and it was like clear. It was just like full bag, like clear. They're like, this is impressive for being in labor. Like, wow.
You still had
humor. It was funny. Yeah. Exhausted humor.
Yeah.
That's good. So then she was born, and you found out who she was.
She was this like strong-willed girl who did not want to come out, which was like a true testament to who she is. Just very.
Was she okay when she came out because of like the heart rate stuff? Like, did she cry right away? Was there anything that they needed to do, or she was just good?
Yeah, they took her over to the warming table, and they dried her off, and they, you know, did kind of what they do. And I don't recall what her APGAR score was, but we were talking about this the other day. I think she had like a 8 or a 9.
Yeah, it wasn't a 10 out of 10. It was just below that. I remember.
That's really great.
I think it. Well, so the only score I don't know is her heart rate. I don't know if she was below or above 100. But so that was like that maybe would be the 9 or so, or 8. You know, I don't know. But she was warm and pink. She was crying. She had grimace.
It was beautiful.
She seemed totally fine in that sense, right? But she was covered in meconium, and you know, just being in the hospital, they were really worried about that. And
yeah, everyone commented on that, and everyone was commenting on the post-dates thing. It was very judgmental. And that was pretty frustrating. It was like, because they don't know what I know, and I went in there telling them what I knew my dates were. And it was like, not only was it disrespected, it was disrespected in a very judgmental way. Which was frustrating.
Yeah.
And then they took her to her oxygen levels weren't holding very well. well. She was at like, it wasn't extremely low, but I think it was at like 85 or something. It was like mid to low 80s or something. And so I think that was ultimately why they ended up taking her over to the critical care, whatever they call it there.
The NICU?
Intermediate. Yeah, but I think they called it something different, like their intermediate NICU or whatever. But yeah, they wanted to take her away right away. And I was like, well, over here first to Mom.
I hadn't seen her yet, or I saw her. I didn't.
We were like 15 feet away.
Yeah. I'll never understand why they put that so far from the mother. You know, it's too far.
Yeah.
And
like at your feet, you can't even just like turn your head to look or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard. It was hard to look. There's so many people around her, so it's like I can't even see. But I heard her. She sounded amazing. And when they, when she was born, first thing I noticed was her eyebrows. She had like beautiful eyebrows. And so Clay brought her over. He had to persuade them. Like, no, she has to come over here. And you shot some photos, and I got to kiss her, and I could feel her so warm. And I was like, I just remember, I'll never forget that. Just like, because she was so warm from just coming out of my womb, and I was just like, oh my gosh, there was like no warmth like that. It was so special. Yeah. And so you went along with her, stayed with her.
Yep. Yeah, and they took her in there, and I mean, pretty basic. They just were really just keeping her on oxygen and trying to make sure she was.
They gave her antibiotics because of the meconium.
That was a little bit later, but it was like it was frightening at first. You know, it was really scary because it was just like I had no idea what was going on, and they weren't really communicating anything to me either. I had to ask a lot of questions, and in retrospect, it's like she was fine. There was no pulse issues. There was no cyanosis. There was no lack of movement or crying or anything like that. It was really just a little bit low oxygen levels, and then the worry about the meconium and the post-dates, and like it was really, I think, a lot of their fear. And then she did need some oxygen support for how long we'll never know, but like it was scary. It was scary at first, but then it got less scary as more people started leaving, and then there was just one nurse with her, and it was pretty calm and explaining what was going on.
And that's a bummer when, not being able to go with you because there's no one there to advocate or to explain what's going on, because that's kind of what my role becomes when I do transfer with people is, explaining things because I can understand what's happening, and when they don't take the time to, I can. And you didn't get to have that.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah,
there's definitely some moments that would have been amazing, like especially in the recovery room right after.
Yeah,
because I was like, I wanted Clay to be with her the whole time, and then he came and got my placenta and got that delivered to Becca downstairs, and because it's very frightening and isolating. It was like a storage room with a nurse. It was really funky. Yeah, I wish that they would have allowed that.
Yeah. And how long did you stay in the hospital for?
We stayed for 5 days.
She was in the NICU for just over 24 hours.
Yeah.
About 36 or 40 hours. It was Saturday night, right?
Yep.
That she came into our room. Saturday. Yeah, so we spent all day Friday. Well, you were recovering and coming off of the painkillers and all that kind of stuff, and then we were going in and out of the NICU and spending time with her.
Yeah.
The nicest nurses. There was one nurse that was very sweet.
Yeah, amazing postpartum team.
Yeah.
Nurses. And we stayed a little extra longer than normal by like a day and a half or something because there was just some feeding issue thing, and they're like, you can stay the 5th night for free, so we just kind of went with it.
Mhm.
It's fine.
She had a what was it too? She had in her she spit up and it was kind of green.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so the doctor was like, I'd really like it. I'd feel a lot better. Like she's probably fine. It's probably just like maybe some meconium left in her stomach or something, but like I'd feel a lot more comfortable if you just stayed the night. Because at that point it was like I think 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. or something.
Yeah.
She's like, just stay the night, one more night. Like we can keep an eye on you guys.
She's like,
We
you
were
don't
like,
have to worry. It's
fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We had amazing meals delivered from Grubhub from
Yeah.
friends and
Yeah.
family. It was so sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then what about, coming home and those first few weeks postpartum? How did that all unfold for you?
They were they were good. They were very gentle, and loving. Yeah. It was so not what I thought it would be. I got I think it's pups rash like after. I don't know if it was a rash from pups or if it was a rash from the um, disposable underwear. That was pretty debilitating.
It's actually so common. I have so many people from those, like, is it like, wait, was it the mesh panties or was it more of like the banding or something? Because I even had that postpartum after my cesarean.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It went up to where the band ended on the mesh underwear.
Mhm.
And it was everywhere. I mean, it was like,
Yeah.
it wasn't on the incision though.
Mhm.
It was, yeah,
Weird.
that was
Yeah.
hard. That was really hard because I already felt like a mess from
Yeah.
the surgery, and you just don't feel great after that, and
Mhm.
it hurts.
Yeah.
And then there's that on top of it, so it was
Mhm.
extremely painful. But besides that, coming home was great. I always had this like sort of anxiety around coming home and walking in the door with a baby, and I just didn't want that, which is another reason why I wanted a home birth. I just wanted that transition to happen here together in our home.
Mhm.
And when we walked in with her, it didn't feel like that at all. It felt really good. I
Mm.
was worried it wouldn't feel good, and
Mhm.
it felt natural. It felt wonderful, and yeah, we came home, and it was the best coming home surprise because Clay's sister had put a big banner out front that says "It's a girl."
Mm.
It was
Mhm.
spelled wrong. It said "It's a Giller,"
Oh
which
my
was
gosh.
hilarious. And so our neighbors, got to see that, and we got to come home to that, which is sweet. And she had just delivered like a new cake because the cake that we had made on day 1 of labor was moldy and done. So she's like, I'm gonna throw this out, and she went to Oliver's and bought a beautiful
So
big
delicious.
cake, and it said "Happy Birthday, Nayla" on it, which was
sweet.
so sweet. And
She
she
had
bought us burritos and snacks.
freshly delivered, still warm Mexican food on the table.
Yeah,
She'd just been there.
yeah.
Yeah, that was perfect.
It was a moment in my life I'll never forget. That
And
was
we were sitting there eating
so
burritos, looking at the sleeping baby, like looking at each other, like, baby. And I'm doing this thing that feels so normal. We're sitting there eating a burrito, like, and there's a baby with us.
Yeah. Wild. How was your breastfeeding journey?
That was that's a good question. It was difficult at first. I feel like there was this pressure to get her latched immediately when we were at Kaiser, and I don't know if it was a pressure for that. It was more like I think that the nurse that was with Mayla when she was in the NICU really wanted to make me feel like it could happen quick. And so she gave me the nipple shield and was like, it's okay. Don't feel bad. Like, it's not you. Here, this will help. And she wanted that bond to happen. So I know it came from a good place, but she just, made that nipple shield be the link to help her latch. And so we were using, besides the nipple shield, everything went wonderfully. But we were using nipple shield for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Which, it was difficult to keep like clean and get that all sorted. And I really just wanted that true latch without the nipple shield. So we had you come over and Becca come over, and we worked on that a lot. And she eventually got it 2 weeks after that. And I mean, ever since then, breastfeeding journey has been fantastic. Very grateful for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you had mentioned that you've, worked with a therapist and done a lot of processing around everything. When you look at your whole journey and everything, what have you taken from it?
Yeah. And I still do. I go to therapy. It's a little bit more infrequent now, but I I'm so glad that I made the decision to go do that, because I think in December I started feeling a lot of birth trauma that I didn't realize was there.
Hmm.
And I want to be specific in that it's birth trauma, not trauma from labor.
Hmm.
Um, I don't harbor any negative feelings with my long labor. A lot of the trauma came from being at the hospital and what happened there, and more so around the situation, um, and the team and the NICU sort of scary moments. And so,
Yeah, just the difference in what happened versus what you wanted to have happen.
yeah,
It wasn't necessarily what happened that was wrong as much as it was so different.
a little bit.
But I mean, like, it wasn't the actual, like you said, it wasn't the actual labor and stuff that like
Yeah,
caused trauma
yeah,
or physical trauma or anything. It was,
Yeah. Well, and I think too, how you're treated can
yeah,
can make a big difference, because I heard you say a couple things about the doctor being off-putting and things like that, and it's like the way you're made to feel in labor, and or that her saying, if I see this one more time we're going to do this, versus like explaining to you the situation and you coming to the decision of, yeah, if it happens again we're not comfortable continuing, like how different it could be if everyone viewed you as the ones who would make the best choice for your baby, because of course you will, you're her parents. That how that could have shifted things if you still felt really held and supported and in charge and respected.
yeah,
It could have made a difference.
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
it would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could go back and rewrite that, and that's kind of what Brooke helped me do, with my like postpartum birth trauma
Mhm.
sort of therapy, and we went back and kind of rewrote that script, and has helped me immensely, um, because that's kind of what would happen is I'd get flashbacks of those moments of the kind of mistreatment and not not just things that were not to my liking, and those sort of things. Working around those has been really helpful and really healed me in many ways, which is wonderful.
Mm, beautiful.
And
Oh,
we had the birth reclaiming ceremony too.
oh yes, yeah, yeah. Share a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was so special.
It was very special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a big part of that too was like, I mean, there's so many different layers to it, but one layer that I really appreciated is that we had this really cool birth team with Sophia and Becca, and we spent so much time that whole week together, and then it ended so abruptly, and you guys weren't, you know, there for that moment that we envisioned you being there for, and you envisioned being there for, and all of that. And so
Yeah.
it was really cool to go kind of recreate that a little bit. And
Yeah,
be
so
able to have
explain
that.
that to anyone listening who doesn't know what, a reclaiming ceremony might look like and what it was like for you.
Well, so for us, some things that were important to us is kind of getting the gang back together and sharing that special moment that we really wanted to have with Mela there, and kind of going back to like those things that we feel like we missed, like the special cord cutting sort of thing. It wasn't as what we had thought it would be,
Yeah.
and our time in the tub together and having Mela there with us when I gave birth in the tub, that is something that we got to recreate, and so we got to use those, um, you know, hopes and dreams of what it could be, and sort of rewrite that so that we could know, kind of almost relive it in a way, the way that we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of what happened, what we thought was going to happen, and kind of relive some memories of labor, and played some guitar.
Some tears,
What's that?
some tears processing, and
Oh yeah. And we got to, I think, like another thing. So I guess the biggest thing for us was doing things that we really wanted to do that we missed out on. And one of the big things for me was like sitting in our bed together, all of us, and like taking a picture with Mela there. So we got to do that and hang out there for a while, just kind of cuddle with all of us. Nerves.
And even like one of my favorite moments, if the baby happens to be born in water, which you weren't attached, but that was kind of your intention. So we got the like act of getting naked mom and naked baby out of the water and helping them to the bed, like that piece just feels like this victory march, like this triumphant thing. And so I remember that was really sweet to let you have that moment, and get you all naked together in bed and your bed and cuddled up, and that was sweet.
Yeah, and then we weighed Mela, and she peed on your scale. It was perfect. It was just how it should be. And she pooped in the bed. It was all just
Yeah.
She's like, I know what to do here.
Yeah.
It was a good time. Yeah, I'm glad we did that.
Well, thank you. That was it was really great to relive all that with you. I know I've slowly been doing it knowing we were going to chat about it. But it's fun to hear all the different perspectives. And is there anything else before we wrap it up that you wanted to touch on? Or I know we were very thorough.
I think so.
Yeah.
The next baby, we're gonna probably make the cake a little bit later. We'll see. Make it right after the first contraction. Yeah.
Turns out making a cake actually doesn't take that long, so maybe we'll just let that be the last.
Well, it was so good to see you too, and thank you for being willing to share your journey. I know it can be this thought of, oh well, I didn't have a home birth, why would I share my story, but it's all births are journeys, and it's not about that we only share home birth stories, but we share birth stories of all the families that give birth in our practice. And I think it's really important for these stories to hear. There's so many families, I'm sure, who are going to listen to this and either be able to relate or to have some like peace hearing your story. So thank you for being willing.
Thank you for inviting us to speak.
Absolutely.
It's really fun to share the story. It's pretty wild and long and
this might be a 2-part series
from very beginning.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll leave a little like cliffhanger or something.
Yeah, totally. That's funny.
Yeah.
Find a good spot.
Well, thank you both. And I know that our care isn't done because I get to see my family's the whole first year. So I'll be seeing you again.
We love that.
Yeah, thank you again. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks everybody for listening. You can find us at Born Wild Podcast on Instagram. For inquiries or feedback, you can email us at bornwildpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me, Emma Ray, on Instagram at Emma Ray, REA, Sophia at sophiabirth.com, and me, Leah, at Bay Area Home Birth. We would really appreciate it if you would rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps us reach more people. And as always,
Stay wild.